Hey, are we both rolling on both? Perfect. Hey, we're here today to use some synthetic bucktail. This stuff is pretty amazing. It's kind of funny. I've watched. That's the white. Here's the purple. The points are very uniform. They're pointy. I've seen a number of YouTube videos from people using this material. Almost every one of them has said, this stuff looks really cool, but I haven't used it very much. So guess what? I'm just the same. But I have tied a few flies with it, haven't had a chance to fish them yet, but I have applied my vast experience. You can laugh anytime. My experience in tying flies and fishing to be pretty confident that some of the flies I've tied, and I'm going to do one of those here, will be real effective. Now there's several flies I've tied that I'm not going to show you. But I'm going to start out with a very simple Clouser minnow tied with synthetic bucktail. And so why would you be interested at all in using synthetic bucktail instead of regular bucktail? Well, here's why. Believe it or not. And yes, I am spending quite a bit of time securing those eyes. Natural bucktails are getting to be in short supply. And one of the reasons for that is that I've heard hunting as a recreational pastime is declining. So be that true or not. The other thing is bass anglers are really getting into using bucktails. And they're buying these things up by the hundreds. So if we have this as a backup, and if it works well, this is a product that's very uniform, not a bit stinky, which is nice, and which will always be available. So the first thing I'm going to show you, when you cut it, the tips are absolutely uniform in length. And you could tie it in like that, and that's okay. And sometimes I stack bucktail to get them to be uniform. But in this case, I'm going to show you how you can pull out a few of those, and then you have a hank that is not exactly uniform. So if that's what you want, that's how you do it. If you want them uniform, you don't have to pull those out. So I will tell you in advance, one of the things you're going to find about this material is it is really slippery. Now I'm going to, let me think about this. I'm going to cut this first. And the people I've seen using this material, I agree, they recommend using a pair of serrated edge scissors instead of your regular scissors. And after using my regular scissors, I agree with their advice. And you'll see me struggling a little bit here because my thread wants to slip off this material. So I'm just gently getting it down, and I'm going to bring it back behind the eyes, take a few turns, and then I'm going to come back under and get those front tips again. Now, I have also tried, I'll just show you this, I have tried tying it in like this and then winding it forward and then trimming it off by the eye of the hook. And what happens then is I've usually got some butts sticking out over the eye, and it's it's kind of crowded. So I'm at this point, I'm trying cutting it first, very carefully getting it lashed on. And the other thing is folks recommend, and I agree, I've checked this out, is a little bit of super glue. So there's our beginning of our clouser. Now I can tell you one of the things, I do try a lot of new materials, and sometimes I'll get new materials. I'm just grabbing some crystal flash here while I'm yapping. Wow, how I get to rambling on sometimes. Occasionally, shall I say, I will get a new material that I try and I just don't care for. When that happens, you never see the video. You wouldn't be seeing this video if I wasn't happy with this, with the way this fly works out. So now I'm going to, I put on a little bit of crystal flash there. Notice the crystal flash is just tied in forward of the eyes, whereas the belly, I tied it in behind the eyes as well. And some people like to wrap their thread all the way back on the hook shank to prevent the bucktail from fouling around the hook. I'm pretty sure you don't need to with this material because this is quite a bit stiffer than bucktail. So we'll see. Well, actually, I don't do that with my real bucktail anyway, and I don't find that big a problem. So now I'm going to cut off some purple, and I'm going to uneven the tips. How's that for good use of English? Uneven. Make the tips uneven. Roll it a little bit. Get it to proper length. I want these just a little bit longer than the white belly. We'll see if it is or not. I'm going to trim those. Now, again, if this were bucktail, my thread would get right into it. But this stuff does not compress. Now, what I want it to do, I want this purple synthetic bucktail to straddle my hook and be separated. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I want it to not be right on top of the hook. I want it to kind of arc over the top of the hook. And now I'm going to put a little bit of super glue on here. And I'm going to build up that thread ahead of it and cover it. And then I'm not going to wrap behind the eyes, but I'm going to crisscross. See how expertly I'm doing this? Flawless presentation. And I'm doing that to make absolutely, positively certain that that's staying in place. Now, some of the folks I've watched recommend using a round thread. This is a flat wax thread. This is my standard Danville's 210 denier. I will have to try using a round thread, and you can keep that in mind. I'm going to finish this fly off, and then I'm going to show it to you. You see, you can't really see from the belly side that I've crisscrossed the threads. Now, without trying to glue my fingers, let me try to show you this fly. It's a pretty slender profile. Let's see if I can put it on a pin here and show it to you so you can see the profile. I know this is going to be a very durable fly. It's a very slim profile. It's going to hold up. I think this is going to fish really well using synthetic bucktail. So within 2 weeks, I hope to be out fishing this fly, and I have high confidence. I hope you do too. Thank you for joining me.